Get ready with me while I tell you some things that my exes did to me in the past and I still stayed.
You what?
Boston girlies, if you see this guy on Hinge, run.
Get ready with me while I tell you my horrific dating story with an influencer.
Story time about how a guy begged to take me out on a date and I end up paying for the whole thing.
Why? This video is a PSA for all my online dating girlies to be careful.
I just went on my first date of the year, and I think it's gonna be my last.
This is bullshit.
So there's certain places you find love, and most times a dating app ain't it.
Ooh-wee, gossipers, we have 7 more tasty story times to sink your teeth into. Grab your drink, get comfortable, and let's get into it. We're starting with a classic case of unearned audacity, where a date begged for a night out only to demand gas money in return. Then, we're unpacking a chilling violation of privacy that serves as a necessary wake-up call for every online dater. We'll dive into a culinary catastrophe so embarrassing that it left a stranger feeling sorry enough to buy a drink. Next, we're exploring the unhinged reality of a double life, where a simple Hinge match spiraled into a domestic standoff involving prison calls and broken doors. After that, we're exposing the bizarre low-effort tactics used by those who have no business being on dating apps. We'll recount the persistence of a total stranger whose refusal to take a hint led to a complete digital and personal invasion. And finally, a breaking down masterclass in digital detective work that uncovered a catfish using nothing but a weird text habit. Let's get into it. And if you're a lover of this video, please like and subscribe. And with every like, a fairy gets a wig somewhere.
Get ready with me while I tell you my horrific dating story with an influencer. Me and said influencer met one weekend in Vegas. We were there for an A-list celebrities private concert weekend. So my friend and I, we met this guy and we met his entire team and crew and ended up hanging out with them all weekend and got to know them super well. They were so fun. We had a great time. There were honestly no complaints about the weekend. So me and this guy, we really hit it off and we kept in touch. We ended up planning out a 4-day trip for me to go visit him in LA because that's where he lived. Super excited for it because we had such a great time when we met in Vegas. So we plan out this 4-day trip. The time comes, I'm flying out, keep in mind, flying cross country. The plans were kind of all up in the air. So I didn't know if he was picking me up from the airport. I didn't know if I was Ubering to his house. I end up landing and I text him and I'm like, hey, what do you want to do? Should I call an Uber? Are you coming to get me? And he says, can you call an Uber? I still have a lot of work I need to finish. Which is fine. I know his job is crazy and busy and I didn't think much of it at the time. So I was like, yeah, that's fine. Let me just call an Uber. I walk into his house, I bring my luggage in and I realize next to his room, there is an empty room because he used to have a roommate. His room was pretty small. My luggage was big because I packed a lot. And I was also going to a different part of California after his place, so I had to pack a lot. But I said to him, hey, since this room's empty, do you want me to put my stuff in it so it doesn't take up all the space in your room? And he was like, no. Put it in my room. Put the luggage in my room and all your stuff. And I was like, okay. I was just offering that so all my shit wasn't in his way. So that was a little bit I don't know, weird. Before dinner, we decided to take the scenic route, I guess, and we ended up walking on the cliffside. Opposite of the cliffside were these beautiful houses, ginormous houses that were stunning. The view was so stunning. We were right on the ocean. At this point, I'm just trying to make conversation. And I think I said something about one of these huge houses where I was like, doesn't it make you wonder what these people do for a living? This house is insane. And he looks at me and goes, I never think about that kind of stuff. I just chuckled and I was like, oh, okay. The type of people who, when you say something, you feel like they're immediately judging you. This is how I felt the entire time I was there. Fast forward to the next day. So the next day comes and we're trying to figure out what we want to do for the day. And he suggested going on a few different hikes. And I was like, yeah, that sounds fun. Let's do that. Whatever. The hikes ended up probably being like at least a couple hours, like running into mid-afternoon, late afternoon. And before we went on the hike, he was like grabbing stuff from the fridge, grabbing food. And in my head, I'm thinking he's probably packing us like a picnic or like food to eat, you know, on the hike or on the beach we were going to after. We finished our hikes, and this last hike was right by the beach, so we decided to walk down to the beach and sit on the beach and just chill. This is where things took a turn for the worse, and I was like, who is this man? So at this point, I'm like hungry. We just did like at least 3 hikes. It was so hot, and it's like late afternoon, which keep in mind, back home it was like dinner time for me. He pulls out bags of ground meat, chicken, protein, and just starts eating them. Just food for him and just meat. Didn't even say anything to me. Didn't look at me. Wasn't fazed. Just started eating his meat. There were other things that I just can't remember at this point that were adding up and just making me feel so like icky and uncomfortable, but I was like, you know what, push through it, like whatever. Next morning comes and he's like, I need to go to the gym. He goes to the Equinox, which is like what, $300 a month. So I was like, that's fine, like I'll go with you. I'll walk on the treadmill, do whatever. I had never been to an Equinox before. So we get there and there's like multiple floors to the Equinox. He's like, all right, I'm just going to head upstairs with my buddy and do a quick workout. And I was like, okay, so you're meeting someone here and leaving me to just figure out what I want to do, figure out where I am. The gym is huge. I was like, okay, I'll be on the treadmill. An hour and a half goes by. Don't see him, don't hear from him. I'm like, did he leave me here? Like, where is he at and what is he doing? Walk around the Equinox trying to find this man, and I finally found him upstairs in a corner with this guy. And he's like, oh, we're just, finishing our workout here. You can like stretch in the corner. I was like, okay, let me stretch in the corner. It was so weird. Like literally like a 2-hour workout where he just left me by myself in a gym I'd never been in, a huge gym, to go get a quick pump with his buddy. At this point, I'm just like not feeling the vibes at all. I just want to like leave. Like I'm not having any fun. I start to freak out a little bit. So once we get home, we get showered, we get changed. I'm like, hey, do you think we could swing by Air One so I can get a smoothie?
Story time about how a guy begged to take me out on a date and I end up paying for the whole thing. So this happened about 2-3 years ago. And this is like when I still had like Facebook at the time. There was this one guy who would like ask to like take me out all the time. And I would always dub him because like no tea, no shade. But I like my men chocolate. Dark chocolate. I could do the brown skin too. But I just feel like 2 yellow tone people just... No, I'm already yellow enough for the both of us. Point of the matter is, he was asking me for like bare long. I think for like 2 years he's been trying to get a date with me. So I was like, fuck it, why not? Let me go see what this guy's about. Something told me, them little posts that be like, oh, give the guys that be in your DMs a chance because that could be your husband. I don't even know why I did that because he was not my type. He wasn't ugly until he smiled. Like he smiled and his teeth was like 90% gums, 10% teeth. That whole shit just pissed me off. So fast forward, he comes, he picks me up. It's pretty early in the day because there was 2 things that I wanted to do that day. I wanted to go to Coney Island. I know y'all be like, if y'all from New York, they're going to be like, why would you want to go to Coney Island for the first date? 1, I like amusement parks. And 2, Coney Island after hours, after a certain time, you have to be 21 plus to be there. And then going on rides drunk as hell, oh, it's a time. So I wanted to go there and I also wanted to go to dinner. So this man picks me up. He's driving a 2020 BMW, all white, red interior. I'm talking about he looked like he just got the car off the lot. And I remember on Facebook, like he was flexing that he got himself a new car. which is okay. That's cute. I'm not someone that like money impresses me, but let's just continue the story. So he picks me up. I get in a car. I live in Manhattan. He lives in Brooklyn. So that drive to Manhattan was already something. So he had to drive all the way back to Brooklyn because Coney Island is in Brooklyn, which was like an hour and 30-minute drive. We get to Coney Island now. And in my head, we're gonna, pay for parking because it's Coney Island. Like, you go to amusement park, there's no way you find parking. Everybody tries to take the free parking, and then by Coney Island there's like people that live around there, so there's no way you're gonna find parking. Just pay for the parking, call it a day. This man starts circling the neighborhood because he wants to look for parking. He was like, nah, I'm not gonna pay for parking. I'm not paying $20 just to park my hair for a couple hours. Bro, it's $20. So that was my first red flag. Like, you don't want to pay $20 to ease your mind, but you would rather drive around here for 30 minutes straight looking for parking. So then as we're driving around, like, I'm getting irritated because I'm like, bro, like, I'm not trying to sit around here looking for parking the whole time. Like, it's getting dark. It's going to start getting cold soon. So then he started asking me, like, how much do you usually pay for, like, the rides and stuff like that? Like, what's the ride prices? So I told him, like, if you spend, like, $100 per person, you can probably go on every single ride that's there. Granted, we're not going to go on every single ride, but if you spent $100 on the both of us, then we could get like 3, 4, even 5 rides in and still be able to play some games. Which to me, like, $100 is not nothing. Like, don't ask to take me out on a date if you don't even got fucking $100. So mind you, by this time, we're 45 minutes circling around to look for parking. Then we see another sign saying, like, you can park here for 4 hours for $10. Homeboy said, nah, I'm not paying that. $10? Like, at this point, I'll pay it. He like, nah, you don't have to pay either. We gonna find something. We circled around for an hour, and at that point, I'm like, you know what, fuck Coney Island, let's just go get dinner. Like, I'm not even feeling no more. He like, oh, are you sure? Like, what place did you pick? So I just picked a random spot online. When I tell you, this is the first time some shit like this happened to me, that I know exactly what the fuck we ordered. We get to the spot, we sit down. It's a cute little restaurant spot. We're talking, like, I'm trying to get to know him more. This is what we ordered. We ordered 3 drinks. I had 1, he had 2. 3 appetizers. I had 1, he had 2, and 1 entree. I had the entree. So that means I had an entree, a drink, and an appetizer. He had 2 appetizers and 2 drinks. Let's keep it in mind. The appetizers are cheaper than the entrees. The bill in total came up to $100. $105.86. I remember it to a T. And that's including the gratuity. You know how good that is for you to get all that food for only $100, including gratuity, especially in Brooklyn, or like just in New York in general. So now the bill comes. This man pulls out the calculator on his phone to calculate what I got and what he got, so we can split the bill. When I tell you, I was so fucking embarrassed, bro. Like, I've never had to pay for my own dinner when I go out on dates or pay for anything. And honestly, if we're going out drinking or whatever, I'd be quick to pull out my card too, like, oh, next round is on me. But if you're begging to take me out, this is my first impression of you. You're gonna make me pay for the date. You're gonna make me pay for my portion of the food, which I honestly didn't even OD. I got what a regular person would get if they were at dinner. There was 2 guys that was sitting right across from us, and when I tell you, like, they were staring at me. And I'm just like, bro, what the fuck? Because we were in like an outside dining type of area. So now the waiter is there standing above us, and he still has the calculator on his phone. And I keep my card sometimes in my phone case. So I just pull out my debit card. I'm like, here, like, just put everything on my card. So he's like, oh, like, you're going to do that for me? Like, I never had somebody do that for me. Like, that's so sweet. Boy, shut the fuck up. Shut up. At this point, I'm ready livid. I'm already texting the group chat like, bro, like, why the fuck I just paid for this fucking date, bro? And they're all cutting my ass. So now we're walking back to the car. He doesn't even open the car door for me. I gotta open it for myself. Then he's like, oh, can I ask you something? And I'm like, like, what's up? He's like, when you go on dates and stuff like that, like, do you ever put in for gas money? Are you fucking stupid? You just asked me to put in for gas money after I just paid for the fucking dinner? Like, the fuck? I'm like, no. Like, what the fuck? I never in my life had to put in for fucking gas money. Not even when my friends were taking me somewhere. Like, I never, like, I offered, but why are you asking me for fucking gas money? He was like, oh, because Manhattan is fake deep and I gotta drive an hour there and drive an hour back. But what the fuck? You the one that wanted to take me. You knew what the fuck you was getting into before you fucking picked me up. All right. So then we drive all the way to my house. It's kind of silent now because now I'm just hot. I'm literally just texting my phone. Like, you can literally hear this. Because, like, my nails are just typing on the phone. And he's like, oh, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. But in my head, I already know, like, I'm never going to talk to this boy again. So So now we get to my house, and this boy starts circling the block. I'm like, what you trying to do? Get a little bit more time with me? I'm like, what you doing? He was like, oh, I thought, I could park and I could come upstairs and we can talk a little. No. You want to come into my house? The house that I pay rent in and talk to me? No, after I paid for the date? And after you ask me for gas money? One thing men have is they just have the nerve. But like, yeah, I never spoke to him again, ever, at all. I got so much date horror stories. I think I'm just going to post, like, since TikTok is freaking getting banned and shit, I'm just going to post, like, every single day, like, another one.
So there's certain places you find love, and most times a dating app ain't it. Not everybody's meant to be on a dating app. Some people ain't meant to be dating at fucking all. This is the reason I'll personally never going on a dating app ever again. So I met this girl on Hinge. She was in law school. She had tattoos. She had a cool contrast vibe to her. Now, this was the first red flag I should have clocked immediately. We had been talking for a month. Mother's Day rolls around. I'm on Instagram, normal, scrolling through, seeing all the moms or whatever. I see her story, and I start clicking through. I'm like, she posted a lot of pictures with this baby. Who the hell is it? Oh, shit. Did not even mention she had a kid. So I swipe up on the stories like, Happy Mother's Day, I guess. To which she responds, oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't want to tell you because, like to keep things private, whatever, blah, blah. I'm an understanding person. I get it. Not everything is supposed to be everyone's business, right? Especially when it comes to kids and shit. And I don't want to be, an asshole and drop her just because she got a kid. So it's all good. Let that slide. She would constantly tell me that her family members didn't like her. Now, I'm being understanding. I'm trying to be, play devil's advocate by saying like, you just misunderstood my fucking dumbass. She literally told me one day her mom called her the devil. And I didn't heed that fucking warning. We kept talking. At this point, we've been talking for like 2.5 months. She comes down. She used to live up in North Cali. She came down to visit me for a weekend. No complaints. She was cool as fuck. Like, I didn't have no complaints whatsoever. Problems didn't start, really, for me until after when she left. She started having issues with things she didn't even have issues with that really had no business being issues. Started arguments all the time. I'm not an argument person. I tell people up front, hey baby, I don't do arguments. That's my thing. I don't argue. We could talk out things. We're adults, whatever. She started crossing that boundary. There was a point where I was like, you know what? This is getting too much. Let's just end things. I say it respectfully. I'm like, let's just end things. I want you to go find whatever makes you happy, whatever, blah, blah. This woman who lives up in the Bay, I live in LA. She immediately left her job and drove from the Bay down to LA. What should have been a 6 to 7 hour drive, she made 3 to 4 and showed up at my crib proud of the record breaking fucking speed that she went. My dumb ass, I let her in. I tell her, I'm like, look, you gonna need some therapy if this is gonna work. You clearly got some baggage you're dealing with. I understand. We all got it. But you're gonna need some therapy. To which she looked me in the face and she was like, I'm gonna go to therapy. I know I got problems, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, cool. We squash it. Boom. Later on that same week, other issues arise. She started doing the same shit. I cut it off again, right? This time, it really hit me like in the middle of the night. So I sent her a text at like 3 a.m. being like, you know what? I don't want to do this, like whatever, blah, blah. Like, I was really standing firm. I was standing on business. I don't want to do this no more. It's becoming too much. I sent the text, put my phone down. I went to sleep. Boom, out. I woke up the next morning to paragraphs of her going off on me, her DMing random women that I probably followed recently, asking how they know me. She threatening to heavy on the... I'm like, what the fuck? So I literally had to hit up her family members being like, yo, your sister wildin'. I don't know if you know, but she's saying this. I don't know if she's serious or not. She's saying she gon', you know what I'm saying? So I never spoken to her family before. Her family said, the best advice we can give you is to run, nigga. Wait, hold on. What do you mean? What do you mean? One of them said something is actually clinically wrong with her. You need to run. All right, bet, cool. Don't reply to none of her texts. Block her number at this point. Probably, I don't even remember. I just was trying to get away from all that energy she was trying to put onto me. I get a call from one of her family members. They said, hey, you live in LA, right? Yes. I think she on her way to you right now. What do you mean? She left a while back. She kind of had this crazy look in her eyes. And I think she's on the way to you. Nigga, and you telling me this shit now? One of her family members is like, look, you don't owe her nothing. When she pulls up, you don't have to let her in. You don't got to do nothing. Best thing for you to do is just stay in your crib. I'm like, is she the fucking Punisher? What the fuck? Her other family member saying you need to have some people with you. You need to have backup with you just in case. What the fuck is happening? She pulls up. I go outside. She in her car. Just lean the seat back. Just watching in the dark. And I'm like, bitch, I can see you. Let her into my lobby. I give her a pat down. Make sure she ain't got no weapons and shit on her. Then I sit with her, have a conversation with her. Eventually, got her to calm down, sent her on her way, whatever, right? She gets back up to the bay. I don't know what she does up there, but starts causing havoc to her family members because she got the idea that her family members been talking to me. Now, all of a sudden, her uncle, who's in prison, is calling my phone out of nowhere, asking me what the fuck is going on. I'm like, how the fuck did you get my number? So I'm like, sir, I'll tell you everything. I was on the phone with that nigga. Every 5 minutes, we heard, doot, doot, doot. Please add more coins for the call to continue or some shit like that. It was like real like that. After I got through telling him everything, he was just like, all this nigga said, he was just, oh, nah, I gotta talk to her. I gotta talk to her. Her sister sent me a text when she got back up to the bay. This girl punched a hole through her sister's door just off the idea that her sister might have played a part in me not speaking to her no more. Basically, I had to distance myself completely. I like to think the point of this whole thing was I avoided being a stepdaddy.
I just went on my first date of the year, and I think it's going to be my last because it was so good. You might be wondering, no, we're talking about men here. I, against my better judgment, decided to have one-on-one time with a man. I said I like sushi. He said he likes sushi. Great. We decided to go to Blue Sushi Sake Grill. They have lots of gorgeous, delicious, cooked and raw sushi. We're sitting at the table. The waiter comes up. He starts asking questions. My date starts looking like a deer in headlights. He doesn't know anything about sushi or what he wants. One thing about me, one of my biggest icks is when a partner, a friend, a family member, anybody acts like they've never left the house. When you get around me, you act like you've been somewhere. Now all of a sudden you asking silly questions, acting like you don't know what ingredients are, like you don't have the power to look it up in your phone and see what it is if it's troubling you that much. not around here, partner. The waiter's like, well, tell me some things that you like and I'll recommend the best roll for you. This man goes, well, bro, I like ham sandwiches, lemon pepper wings, and sweet potato fries. Me and the waiter are just looking at each other because what the hell is he talking about? I'm wondering, is he having a stroke? So the waiter's like, you know what? I'm gonna let you look at the menu one more time. I'll circle back around. So my date ends up getting a phone call right after this, so he steps away. The waiter comes back to the table with a drink for me, and he's like, that guy at the bar over there sent you this drink. Assuming my waiter probably told the bartender what happened, and the old white man at the bar took pity on me and sent me a drink. So my date comes back to the table. I'm like, how about I just order for us. Let's get some chicken lettuce wraps and a thriller roll. If you know, you know, that's a guaranteed crowd pleaser at Blue Sushi Sake Grill. He likes it, of course. He likes me, of course. He thinks I'm a beautiful, gorgeous, cultured queen that's gonna show him the world, but no. Because you know what I didn't like? I don't like liars. And I don't like being embarrassed. And I don't like white people laughing at us in Black History Month. Blizzard!
This video is a PSA for all my online dating girlies to be careful. I have a friend who lives in Montana who matched with a guy who was visiting from Texas and decided on his own that he was going to change his flight to stay one more night to meet with my friend. Now, she gave him a bunch of options. He picked a steakhouse. This man showed up 30 minutes late to the date. She said they were together for about like an hour and 45 minutes. The date went well. She even offered to split the bill at the end, and he said, no, I got it. So then she gets home and gets this message on Hinge. Now, mind you, they did not exchange phone numbers. It was strictly through Hinge before they met up. You guys can pause to read. It is diabolical. Now, this is where shit gets fucking weird. He found her phone number through LinkedIn. Texted her this from a fake number. It does not match the number he gave her on Hinge. And then proceeds to send another message last night after the first one. And then just when she thinks it's done, another text this morning. Thanks for the lovely evening. It was the highlight of my trip. And another message today. And then this one takes the cake. I mean, you gotta pause for this one. A whole 2 paragraphs from a man who you were with for an hour and 45 minutes. Are you okay? Now, mind you, all of these messages are from different phone numbers that don't match the Hinge number that he gave her. So clearly he used like one of those like fake apps that you can like just make a fake number. So be careful who you're meeting up with and how much information you're sharing with them and what you put on the internet, because clearly people can find you and there's fucking crazy ass people out there.
Boston girlies, if you see this guy on Hinge, run. Match with this guy, and the conversation starts off okay. He seems to match my energy at first, and we're definitely playing that 12-hour phone tag game, which I hate, but... And then we had this one conversation where we're texting, like, back and forth, hyping bubbles and everything, like, the conversation is going at rapid speed. The energy match is crazy. We're honestly being gluttonous and talking about food for the most of it, but I was still like, okay, OMG, this is tea. Because, like, my friends flame me for it, but I love to see if me and a guy have, like, a friend vibe at first, because that's what makes it more realistic for me. Like, I don't just develop shit from, like, random pickup lines and, like, minimal substance combos. So on Hinge is just kind of what I was looking for. I sent his profile back to my friends after that conversation, and then one of my friends was like, wait, I've seen this guy on TikTok before, I think. Like, he looks like, I swear I've seen him on TikTok. When she said that, I was like, okay, he's honestly hot enough that makes sense. I just feel like TikTok is a lot more personal and reveals someone's personality more than Instagram. If we're gonna go on a date, I kind of want to get my first impression of him from meeting him in person. And I feel like if I opened TikTok, it would form like some type of parasocial relationship right away. So I just didn't want to do that. So yeah, I just didn't want to look, because I didn't want to spoil our first IRL interaction, if that makes sense. We chatted up for a week and we're kind of flirty and we're talking about like hanging out, and we exchanged numbers. I get a text from an Android and I'm like, okay, eyebrow raise, because in the profile it has an iPhone in his pictures. So I was just like, I know you don't have iMessage off, so like, what is this? And I'm kind of like a chronic paranoid thinker at times. When I look harder into it, the number I'm texting is a Canadian area code. Googled it and I asked my Canadian friend, I was like, is this a Canadian area code? And he was like, yeah. And this guy is supposed to be from Massachusetts. So I was like, I know we might not have the area codes that align with where we're from, but I feel like it's a big reach to have a Canadian area code instead of an American one. And then I'm like, OMG, I'm being catfished. I realized this guy is not verified on Hinge. I mean, that doesn't really matter to me because, like, I know a bunch of people who are on Hinge and are too lazy to verify themselves. But it's different because I finally decided to search up this guy on TikTok and he has 300K. And I was like, okay, bro, it's over. Like, goodbye. One of my friends goes, okay, maybe it's a burner phone. And like, I'm delusional, girl, but I'm not that delusional. And this guy says, OMG, please, LOL, in one of our text messages, and insinuates that we should hang out. And my friends were like, Rochelle, what guy says OMG, please, LOL? And then I pulled a bunch of my guy friends, see how many of them have ever said OMG please in a text convo, and the answer was 0. So this guy's also texting me with auto capitalization off. If you're doing that, either you talk to women a lot or you are a woman. So I checked the guy's Instagram and he has auto capitalization on. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm texting a woman. A woman catfished me as a man. That's cool, that's cool. That red flag was the nail in the coffin, and then I deleted Hinge. But a lot of my friends have said they do see him in their standouts. You see him, just stay safe, gang, and probably don't text him. Off topic, isn't this tube top so cute from Aritzia? And I'm about to wear it to work with a jacket over, because I have like a presentation, but feeling so girl boss business casual.
Get ready with me while I tell you some things that my exes did to me in the past and I still stayed. Please learn from my mistakes. Also, good morning. Say it back. I had to kick Dexter out of the room so he would be saved from the shame that he will feel towards his mother after you hear all of the shit that I went through, okay? One of my exes used to have a group chat where he shared a lot of pictures of local girls, like girls that I had been in the same room with several times, and was talking about how hot they were. One of them, he said he wished he would have gotten pregnant. One of my exes, also men's group chats, give me PTSD, literally, because he was in this group chat talking about how fat I was and how disgusting my body was and how he hated to see me naked, even though every time he saw me naked, he lasted maybe 2 minutes. One of my exes would always take his phone with him into the bathroom when he was taking a shower. I'm telling you right now, red flag. One of my exes would always threaten to delete himself from the planet Earth every time I was trying to have an adult conversation with him about something that he did that I didn't like. One of my exes and I went to a wedding full of our close friends, and he left me sitting in the corner while he was hitting on every other girl that he could possibly find. He ended up starting a fight at this wedding too and ruining that wedding reception. And apparently it was over me. It was because somebody had said something rude about me like 2 years before this. And now all of a sudden he gave a shit about his girlfriend. I had an ex who let me know 6 months into the relationship that his roommate was a stripper and does OnlyFans. Nothing on her. Do what you gotta do, babe. He just didn't tell me that until 6 months into the relationship. And he also did not let me know that he was following her TikTok that advertised her OnlyFans. He told me that it was his way of showing support for his friends. I really should have gotten some men to show me the same support. This same ex was constantly talking to other women in comment sections on his Instagram, and when I politely told him that I did not like that, he deleted all of his social media except for his Snapchat. One of my exes told me that several times when he's gotten drunk that he has made out with other men. One of my exes threw me into a refrigerator because I asked him if his friends were employed. Mind you, this is when we both had COVID and you had to quarantine for 2 weeks at this point. And we were stuck in a room together for 2 weeks. Every single morning at the ass crack of dawn, I would wake up to hearing him screaming over Call of Duty with the same guy. So I asked him, is this friend employed? Does he have a job? And apparently that really, really pissed him off that I insulted one of his friends like that. So he threw me into the refrigerator. I forgot my transition powder. Anyways, one of my exes told me when we were drunk to slap him for funsies. That's what he said, you know. I just want to see how hard you can hit, right? I did it. Maybe you'll tell me I was wrong, but I was being told to do it, and I was also drunk. And instead of laughing, haha, he then tried to choke me out. One of my exes made me promise on a time where we took our 13th break of the month. He made me promise that when we went out with our friends, because of course we all shared the same friends. Those are not my friends. He made me promise to not go home with anyone because he knew that I was in high demand, and he popped up. So I said okay, just to be respectful as the nice person that I am. And he ended up taking home a 40-year-old woman who he then was dating within a week. Full-blown, in love. I don't know. One of my exes did not bathe for 2 days. And for some reason, I let him sleep in my bed. Children, cover your ears, but he was also uncut, so the smell that came from that after these 2 days could have been studied. One of my exes on my birthday, which mind you, I was afraid to ask him for anything that wasn't already free on my birthdays because it always started a fight. We would fight on my birthdays and Valentine's Day and our anniversary, go figure. And I asked him for my birthday if we could just go to a buffet that I really like, and they give free buffets when it's your birthday. Only on your birthday, obviously, right? So we get to the buffet, and while we were still parked, I just asked him, hey, is there something wrong with your mom? Did I do something that offended her? Because she still hasn't told me happy birthday, and it's been an entire day. Well, that set him off. Apparently, I had just murdered one of his family members. And then he started screaming at me so loud in the parking lot with the doors shut in the car that there were people walking up to the car to check on me to make sure I was safe. He was spitting on me because he was yelling so loud. And then he demanded that I take us home. Mind you, I'm driving on my birthday to a free buffet because I couldn't ask him for anything else without fighting. And the entire way he was screaming at me so loud that I had to pull over because I had a full panic attack, and I had to pull over into a Waffle House parking lot and scream and cry because he was yelling at me so hard. And he just continued to tell me that he hates me and this is all my fault and look what I make him do. And we didn't go anywhere for my birthday. We didn't do anything on my birthday. I went to work. I did not get to go to my buffet, and I went home with swollen eyes because I was crying so hard while he continued to tell me for the next couple of days that it was my fault. One of my exes, whenever I would just politely and respectfully, almost like I was talking to a child, let him know that something that he did or said, I wasn't okay with it and I just wanted to talk about it, he would instead decide to go get drunk, like disgustingly drunk, to the point he would pass out, and would stonewall me. If you don't know what stonewalling is, it's basically like a manipulative way of the silent treatment. Mind you, we were 20 hours apart, so I could not do anything but text him and ask him, like, are you okay? I ended up apologizing for my own feelings. He would still stonewall. And anytime I tried to call him or text him, he would tell me if I call or text again, he's going to. One of my exes constantly hit on one of our friends that was with us all the time. I considered her a very close friend. She had been there for me anytime that he did something shitty. The whole time he was hitting on her every time they got drunk, and she didn't want to tell me. I think that she liked the attention. So, yeah, that was really fun. It was super easy not to compare myself to her every time that we were around each other after that. I wanted to surprise one of my exes because he told me that the reason that he could not give me what I needed emotionally in order to feel loved was because I didn't do enough sexy things for him around the house. So instead of showing an ounce of self-respect, I went and bought some spicy clothing, spicy outfits. Okay, I'm trying to keep this friendly. And I cooked him dinner, put the outfit on, brought him the dinner into his man cave, and he looked up from his video game, grabbed the food, said, "Can we do this in a second?" and then put his headset back on. One of my exes would also spend hours upon hours playing Fortnite or Minecraft. But when it came to getting a better job or maybe a second job to pay the bills that he could not pay, that was too much of a commitment for him. If you're not getting the theme of all of this, is that every relationship that I was in my past, I was the man. I was cracking them, by the way, because I was the man. Last but definitely not least, we know that one of my exes ghosted me, just out of nowhere. He just ghosted me because he did not want to have an adult conversation. So he ghosted, he dipped, and I'm so glad that that happened because the good Lord was making sure that my dumbass wasn't going to try and continue to make it work and give him a second chance. And that is because I believe that he wanted me to give Pookster, who you guys hear me talk about, give Pookster a chance, who, coming from his own mouth, I ghosted him for 3 months because I was trying to make a shitty dead-end relationship work. And now I am with somebody who does everything that he possibly can to keep me feminine. And that is why I want to get him pregnant. So he knows that I love him. I know that he's watching this. But I post these types of videos so you can learn from my mistakes. Please learn from me being a dumbass and try to avoid it, even though it's going to happen. I already know that this shit is crazy. I already know that I should have never allowed it. But you know what? I look back at it and I kind of appreciate it because it lets me know what I will never accept again. So I love you guys. It's time for me to get ready for work. Dexter is in my lap. He wanted to come and provide emotional support, so he's been in my lap for the past couple of minutes. But yes, we love you guys, and I hope you have a great day.
Which one of these had your jaw on the floor? I'll let you know mine in the comments and let me know yours too. And don't forget to subscribe. I have weekly videos coming, and I'll see you next time, gossipers. Bye.